Church of the Blessed Annunciation. In the central section of the panel, we find the church layout with relating key. The left side offers essential historical information on the building, while the right side displays the facade. Historical introduction. The church stands out for its monumental size. The facade is in fact 25.5 meters in height and was built on a small city square. The design is attributed to the architect Giovanni Maria Tarantino from Nardò, as can be seen from a comparison with the Church of Saint Dominic in Nardò. The construction work ended in 1622. The earthquake that took place on the 20th of February 1743 half destroyed the building, which was later rebuilt at the expense of the inhabitants of Leverano. Facade. The church is in pre-Baroque style and is an example of the transition from the Renaissance to the Baroque era. The facade design is Renaissance in style. A scalloped cornice divides the facade into two levels, while the paired monumental columns vertically divide it into three spans. The lower level is made up of four bases with columns, paired and fluted, arranged in two rows. Between the pairs of columns, we find three doorways to the church. The side doors are aligned with small overhead rose windows, while the main doorway is topped by a triangular tympanum. Instead, the architecture decoration is Baroque. It is enriched in the upper row, softening the rigor and severity of the overall design. The original decoration of the large openwork window at the center of the second level is quite particular. To the sides of the window, we find two odd-looking pillars bearing a male head, acanthus leaves, and a grotesque mask resting on an animal's paw. While the architrave presents a vegetal motif with a puto in the middle and a griffin on the sides. Alongside the window are empty niches, which once hosted stone statues. The facade ends with a rectangular pinnacle and a niche at the center. The frame of the pinnacle displays, amidst the serration, some apotropic masks. That is, masks whose function was to ward off evil spirits. Interior. The entrance doors precede the division of the church into three naves. An arcade resting on pillars made of 4 arches per side divides the central nave, number 1, from the side ones, number 2. The ceiling of the central nave bears wooden trusses but is completely hidden by an enormous hanging sky that occupies the entire nave. The painting portrays the Annunciation of the Virgin in a central medallion. The spans of the side naves are covered by star vaults, typical of architecture from Lecce. On the third left pillar of the middle nave, we find a wooden pulpit, probably from the first half of the 1700s. On the opposite side, between the third and fourth pillars, we see the 18th century pipe organ. A splendid inlaid arch in stone divides the central nave from the transept, number 3. At the center of a wide staircase, we find the main wide altar, number 4, in stone and stucco with an umbrella dome in 8 sections bearing images of the 4 evangelists: Saints Luke, Matthew, John, and Mark. The transept is separated from the choir, number 5, by another majestic inlaid arch bearing the date 1602 and decorated with vegetal motifs and figures. The choir hosts a wooden structure with 24 seats dated 1615 and cross vaults with lunettes. The first altar of the left side nave is of particular artistic importance. It is dedicated to the Madonna of Mount Carmel. It is the only altar in the church in Baroque style. It is characterized by typical Baroque helical columns located alongside the altarpiece of St. Francis. The upper edicula is flanked by 2 statues in stone of St. Peter, left, and St. Paul, right. On the left side, after the second altar, an opening leads to the chapel of the Blessed Sacrament, number 7. A spacious 8-sided space built in 1725. Outside, the dome is clad in colored majolica and was entirely rebuilt in 1829, after the bell tower collapsed and was also rebuilt. To the right of the main altar, we can admire the altar dedicated to Saint Rocco, which bears a high relief in papier-mâché portraying the patron saint.